In the following video, a duo of friends armed with flashlights were exploring an abandoned building late at night, hoping to capture whatever had been making the strange noises they kept hearing on earlier visits. It was only supposed to be a quick sweep through the corridors, but things escalated fast when they turned a corner. As they walk down a narrow hallway, their flashlights sweeping across peeling walls and scattered debris, they turn a corner and immediately freeze. Just ahead of them, a ghost-like figure floats upward, rising silently until it disappears completely out of sight above the doorway. The light catches just enough of it to show its shape before it vanishes, leaving the two friends completely stunned. They stand in that corner for a long moment, clearly unsettled, trying to figure out if they really saw what they think they saw. Eventually, they gather the courage to move forward and check the spot where the figure disappeared. But when they round the corner, the space is completely empty. No stairs, no ledges, nothing that something could have climbed or stood on. Whatever floated upward was gone, leaving them with no explanation at all. The next piece of footage was taken on the 17th of October 2012, right in the middle of the day, and it comes from a man named Michael, who insists he was completely alone in the house at the time. For about 10 minutes straight, he kept hearing footsteps going up and down his staircase, the kind of loud, clear steps you'd expect from a full-grown adult. Eventually, he grabbed his camera and started recording, because the sounds simply wouldn't stop, and he hoped to catch them as proof.
Okay, it's like the middle of the day. I'm the only person in the house, and just heard some footsteps going up and down the stairs. I've checked all the rooms. There is nobody in. It's been doing it for about 10 minutes. There it is again. Okay. Let's see if I can get the camera this time. Nothing there though. Holy shit. Oh my god, have a look. This. Hello? Mike? Charlie?
As soon as he starts filming, you can hear it on camera too, that repetitive thudding of someone pacing the stairs. Michael walks out of his room and points the camera directly at the staircase, but there's nothing there. No movement, no shadows, nothing that explains the noise. Still, the footsteps continue, even while he's staring straight at the stairs. Suddenly, the sound changes. Whatever's on those stairs runs all the way up at full speed, but nothing ever appears in frame. Then, right at the top, the door slams shut, hard enough to shake Michael, stands frozen for a few seconds before finally building up the courage to go inside the room. It turns out to be nothing more than the bathroom, completely empty, no windows open, no one inside, no reason for anything he heard. After this incident, Michael admitted he's now looking to sell the home altogether. A man is standing just outside his bedroom, filming because he claims something in the house has been responding to him whenever he speaks in his native language. He's clearly unsettled, but he keeps the camera rolling as he talks quietly toward the dark hallway, almost as if he's addressing someone he can't see. Little do we know at this point that there is definitely someone there.
Voy a tratar de comunicarme con este ente como me dijeron. Se sienten pasos. Si estás acá, prende la luz. ¿Qué? Si estás aquí en el baño, enciende de nuevo el agua. ¿Hay alguien más que tú aquí en esta casa? ¿Mi vida corre peligro? Está guayando. Aquí no hay... Ah, no, yo me voy.
As he's speaking, the shower in the bathroom beside him suddenly turns itself on, spraying water for a second, before shutting off again. He stops mid-sentence, confused, and walks toward the door. The moment he steps inside, it happens a second time, the shower turning on and off, as if something is reacting to his presence. He stays there, wondering if it would happen again, and as expected, the shower triggers a third time, then a fourth, each burst short and deliberate like someone unseen is flicking the tap. Finally, he pulls the shower curtain aside to check for anything that could have caused it. But there's nothing. No loose pipe, no faulty handle, nothing in the tub. Whatever was answering him wasn't something he could see, but it was definitely listening. In the follow-up clip, Franco is still in the same house, this time sitting in his own bedroom with the camera pointed upward as he tries to calm himself after the shower incident. He earlier explained that things haven't stopped since that night, and the second he begins to film, the reasons become obvious. Above him, the ceiling light begins to sway back and forth, slowly at first, like something barely nudged it. Franco keeps filming, well aware that there's no draft, no windows open, nothing that could make it move. But then it starts swinging faster, almost violently, like someone was pushing it from side to side. He tried to stay steady, breathing hard, when something else happened out of nowhere. His bedroom door begins to close on its own, not slamming, but gently, almost politely, until it clicks shut. Franco freezes for a moment before finally mustering up the courage to stand and open it. The second he does, he jumps back in fear as his cat is suddenly sitting right at the threshold, staring up at him. The timing couldn't have been worse, and it terrified him even more. The activity hasn't stopped at all, and Franco is running out of explanations. In the third and most unsettling clip, Franco is back in the same bedroom again, determined to catch whatever has been lurking in his house. He points the camera toward the same doorway where the earlier activity happened, explaining that he keeps hearing movement outside his room late at night. Things escalate quickly.
Hay ruido en el primer piso. Está...
As he films the doorway, something faint moves at the very top of the staircase that leads downstairs. A dark, odd shadow briefly peeks around the corner, just enough to be seen before sliding out of sight again. Franco is very frightened and clearly shaken, but before he even has time to react properly, his bedroom door begins to shut once more. This time it doesn't slam or jolt. It closes normally, smoothly, almost deliberately, like someone was standing behind it and pushing it shut with care. Franco panics and immediately runs to pull the door back open, swinging the camera around the hallway. But just like every other moment in this house, there's nothing. No footsteps, no movement, no one who could have been responsible other than his white cat, who wouldn't have appeared so dark. Whatever is haunting Franco's home isn't done with him yet, and this clip only made things even more disturbing. Luke had been hearing strange voices around his house for a few nights in a row, and this time he finally worked up the nerve to start filming to prove he wasn't imagining it. He sets his camera on the doorway in front of him, trying to capture any sound or movement that might happen. Take a look.
I'm still hearing voices. Listen. Jesus Christ.
For a few seconds, everything is still. The room quiet, except for Luke's uneasy explanation. Then, from somewhere, just out of frame, another door in his room suddenly shuts on its own. It's loud enough that the camera picks it up clearly, even though it's completely off-screen. Luke jumps back with a genuinely shocked reaction, his words showing fear, but there's nothing. No wind, no movement, no shadows, just a door that somehow shut itself while he was lying right there. His reaction alone makes it clear he wasn't expecting it, and whatever voice he'd been hearing before clearly wasn't finished, making itself known. In the follow-up clip, Luke is on edge again because he starts hearing whispering near his room and decides to record once more, convinced that whatever had closed the door before is still around. As he films the room, a strange scattering sound begins coming from inside the walls, quick and uneven, like something crawling behind the plaster. At first, he tries to convince himself it might be a rodent, something normal, something that would at least make sense. But the longer he films, the more wrong it feels, because the scattering stops suddenly and is replaced by a clear whisper that comes from the far side of the room, nowhere near Luke, and definitely not from the walls. It's unmistakably human, low and intentional, and Luke's breathing picks up as he looks around at the empty room. Whatever is in that house with him is not an animal, and it's definitely not his imagination. Luke is still recording when he suddenly goes quiet, because 3 slow knocks hit his bedroom door, spaced out like someone is deliberately trying to get his attention.
You're knocking again.
He stares at the door without moving, waiting to see if it was just the house settling, but then it happens again, the exact same pattern, a little louder this time. Luke takes a deep breath, trying to steady himself, whispering that he doesn't want to open it. Before he can even finish speaking, another round of knocks hits the door, faster now, almost impatient, followed by a final series that's even more aggressive, as if whatever is outside is getting bolder. He stays frozen, the camera shaking slightly in his hand, because the worst part is that he knows for a fact no one else is home. A man was relaxing in bed watching TV, the room dimly lit and calm as he ironically filmed the film on the television. He'd been feeling uneasy for days, claiming small things in his room would be moved when he wasn't looking. Wanting to capture anything strange, he began filming.
Loco, estaba durmiendo, me acaba de levantar, loco, estoy cagado de las patas. Fuera de joda me puse en alabanza, amigo. Estaba durmiendo y de ahí arriba... Mirá, boludo. No lo puedo creer. Necesito, boludo.
As he pans the camera toward his wardrobe, a box perched high up suddenly slides forward, pushing a can from the very top. The can bounces off the edge, and after bouncing somehow, landing upright on the floor, in full view of the camera, the man audibly gasps, his breathing sharp as he realizes what just happened. The clip cuts with him still holding the phone toward the wardrobe, the camera shaking slightly, as though he didn't know whether to get up or stay put. People online said the way the can landed upright added an extra layer of unease, making it feel impossible for the moment to be a coincidence. The following clip opens with bad quality footage under warm, dim lighting, giving everything a slightly grainy and uneasy look. The person behind the camera is slowly panning around the entrance of their house, trying to capture the full view as if they were documenting something already unsettling. If you pay close attention, just by the door frame, a pair of faint, ghostly legs can be seen walking past. They were transparent and slow, as though whoever it was wasn't fully there. The figure vanishes just as the camera tilts slightly, making it hard to catch, unless you pause at the right moment. Fortunately, the person behind the camera noticed, and the family is currently arguing whether it was a trick of the light or genuine proof of a spirit lingering in the home. Either way, the combination of the bad camera quality and the warm lighting made the moment feel even more surreal and haunting. Who knows what will happen next for the family? Sierra had just bought a new home, one with a reputation for being haunted, and decided to film a vlog about fixing it up. Alone that day, she climbed a ladder to start some small renovations, her back to the camera.
How did you... How did you get out there? Okay, let's try this again.
A few moments later.
There's no way that this is a thing. I don't think you understand. There is zero way that she could unlock that, open it, shut it, and lock it. How are you doing this?
Midway through her work, she suddenly heard the sound of something sliding across the floor, followed by what unmistakably sounded like a door shutting. Confused, she grabbed her camera and walked toward the noise, finding her dog waiting anxiously outside the door. She let him back in, but his behavior was off, and he seemed tense and unsettled, staring at the door as if something was still on the other side. Trying to shrug it off, Sierra set the camera back up and climbed back onto the ladder to continue filming. Moments later, the same sequence of noises happened again. The strange part was how the door had clearly opened, shut, and locked, without her or her dog near it. And with her dog being so small, there was no chance he could have done it. Whatever was happening seemed to be tied to the house itself, leaving Sierra visibly shaken as she tried to keep filming for proof. With the unsettling incidents piling up, Sierra decided to set up additional cameras around the house to see if she could capture anything else happening when she wasn't holding the phone. In one of the new clips, her sister and fiancé were in the nursery they were preparing for their upcoming baby, decorating the room and chatting quietly.
Where did you drop it? On the paper. Oh my god. What was that? What the hell?
A few moments later.
Out of nowhere, the nursery door slammed shut hard enough to rattle the walls. Both of them froze, staring at the door, before her sister cautiously opened it again and stepped out into the hallway to look for any possible cause. There was no draft, no loose hinges, no one else in the house. Trying to shake it off, they went back to work. But shortly after, while her sister was stepping into another room to grab something, the nursery door slammed again with the same force, startling them all over again. By this point, even Sierra's family was beginning to believe something was wrong with the house. She later explained on social media that everyone had agreed to stop working in the rooms alone, and the nursery remained unfinished. They were already discussing whether to bring in a professional investigator or even abandon the renovation plans altogether. A shaky video begins with a man sounding clearly frightened as he walks slowly toward his sitting room, breathing abnormally heavily while recording. The camera pans across the hallway before reaching the doorway, where the floor is littered with torn-up paper as though someone had scattered it everywhere.
Sí.
Once inside the sitting room, he films around nervously, the dull Christmas tree in the corner, adding an eerie contrast to the mess on the floor. Tiny orbs drift across the frame, faint but visible against the warm lights, making the atmosphere feel even heavier. As he sweeps the camera around, a faint female voice can be heard somewhere behind him. He spins around instantly, but there's nobody there, only silence and the sound of his breathing. He is desperate to escape, and the video ends as he walks out of the room, still filming ahead of him. He later posted the clip online, asking viewers if they could figure out what the paper might have been or why it was all over the floor. A mother received a ring notification at 10 p.m. and, thinking it might be her husband outside, opened the app to check the live footage. Instead of easing her mind, though, what she saw made it impossible to sleep. At first, everything looked normal. Their driveway lit faintly, her husband's Porsche parked near the sliding door. But then she noticed something impossible, the faint image of a little girl in a dress standing perfectly still just behind the glass. The girl's outline was clear, not a reflection or a trick of the light, and she wasn't moving or reacting at all. For several seconds, the figure remained, frozen in place like it was watching. Then, without warning, the girl's shape slowly faded and seemed to dissolve back into the shadows, leaving only the darkness. The mother later said she replayed the footage dozens of times and still couldn't explain what she'd seen, and she's now convinced something unnatural is around her home. The mother decided to film an update in response to all the comments she'd received about the ring footage. In her video, she stood exactly where she had been that night, next to the sliding door, and panned her phone to show the area outside.
Okay, so this is the area, the door that it was like standing inside. We don't have anything or keep anything in this area because it's a walkway and it would be really awkward. And then this is where the security camera is. So when I looked at the footage, I expected to see a person. I didn't expect to see that though.
She explained that nothing is usually kept near the door. No statues, no decorations, no children's toys, nothing that could have caused the shape people were seeing. She then showed the camera itself, still mounted in the same position it had been during the original recording, to prove she hadn't moved it or staged anything. To make her point even clearer, she recreated the moment on camera, standing where the figure would have been, to show the height and angle were completely wrong for any reflection. Watching her run through the explanation only made the footage seem more chilling, because there really didn't seem to be a normal way to explain what had been captured that night. The Dark, an Arabic ghost hunter who gets paid to investigate haunted places, has been covered here before. But for you new viewers, he's known for boldly walking into some of the most terrifying facilities with nothing but a flashlight and a camera. In one of his more recent explorations, he was moving steadily through a crumbling building, his light sweeping across the eerie halls.
يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات. لا إله إلا الله. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. حصنت نفسي بلا إله إلا الله. بسم الله. لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله. بسم الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا جماعة أحس إننا محاصرة بجميع الجهات والله العظيم.
His tone was confident at first, but things took a turn when he suddenly stepped on something that crunched loudly beneath his feet, breaking the silence. Almost immediately after, a deep sliding sound echoed through the building. He spun around to see a massive storage unit slowly dragging itself across the floor. Whispering religious phrases under his breath, he steadied the camera and walked toward it. But just as he did, another unit on the opposite side began sliding in the other direction, followed by yet another further down. The sheer force of whatever was moving them was undeniable. What shocked many was his bravery. Rather than running, he pushed forward into the darkness, determined to document every second. For the continuation of this story, make sure you subscribe to me, because it only gets more intense from here. Matty had been spending a quiet evening at home when she started to hear strange noises outside. At first, it sounded almost like a man mumbling, low and muffled, but she couldn't quite make out the words. Curiosity and a touch of fear got the better of her, so she grabbed a flashlight and her phone before stepping out the front door, shutting it firmly behind her.
Hearing the craziest noises. Listen. I gotta check this out. Ruby. Where the f did it go? What the? Oh my God. Hello? Is anyone there? Oh my God. Holy shit. Thought I heard those noises again.
I heard them last night.
I didn't see anything, but I wanted to just look.
Probably just an animal or something.
Yeah. I keep seeing all those cats.
The camera picked up the sound of bushes rustling nearby, and Matty moved quickly, scanning around them with her light, her voice shaky as she tried to call out. Just when she thought maybe it was nothing, she spun around while still recording, and in that pan across the yard, the lens caught something ducking back behind a tree. The figure moved fast enough that it could almost be dismissed, but its shape was far too uncanny to ignore. Afterwards, Matty's boyfriend insisted that it was probably just an animal startled by the flashlight. Still, Matty couldn't shake the feeling that what she saw wasn't any animal at all. Hugo and two of his friends had always laughed at the idea of ghosts, so when they heard about a supposedly haunted house nearby, they decided to go check it out for themselves. None of them expected much, other than just a night of fun, a little adrenaline, and maybe a good story to tell afterward. When they entered the building, they found it in shambles, with broken furniture, dust, and debris scattered everywhere. They explored room after room, joking and pointing out the eerie state of the place, still convinced nothing supernatural would come of it.
Casi brugada. Loco, pero porque yo tengo que ir al frente. Vengan, culero. Loco, espérate.
¿Por qué no se puede?
Loco, yo siento como que alguien los está viendo de adentro. Aquella. Yo. Dale, loco, vete al frente.
Ey, loco, tú me siento como que ando en El Salvador, ¿no? Te digo algo, Hugo. Como yo soy el único que no está grabando. ¿Tú no estás grabando? Nosotros dos somos los que vamos a ver esto más rápido que
Mira, grafiten hecho ahí, qué vergüenza.
Esta mierda. No, güey, aquí debe haber cosas raras.
Dale, loco, vamos.
Ey, ya. Con respeto, no conocemos así. Es que mira cómo está.
Güey, esta mierda se nos va a caer encima.
Dale, dale.
Ten cuidado, viejo. Ey, tengan cuidado donde pisan, loco.
Para todos lados, ¿no? Ey, loco, tú me siento como que ando en El Salvador, loco.
Te digo algo, Hugo. Como yo soy el único que no está grabando. ¿Tú estás grabando? Nosotros dos somos los que vamos a ver esto más rápido que
Mira, grafiten hecho ahí, qué vergüenza.
Esta mierda. No, güey, aquí debe haber cosas raras.
Dale, loco, vamos.
¿Qué pasó, loco?
Este man, que vamos, bro. Ey, pero no lo va a caer este techo, güey. Sí, pues las tablas no creo, es un fierro lo que tiene.
But at the very end of their footage, a brief and chilling image appeared. A faint figure, resembling a ghostly woman, seemed to be standing inside the building with them. Her outline was visible enough to send shivers down viewers' spines, but the group themselves hadn't noticed it at the time. They left the house still laughing, unaware of how close they might have actually come to something paranormal. What they dismissed as a harmless adventure may have been far more real than they realized. HRJ Paranormal Adventures uploaded a video titled Part 2 of 3 Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, continuing their exploration of the infamous location. The team had already captured unsettling activity in the first part, and this segment only added more fuel to the fire.
So, do you know who was down the hall that was touching all the people?
As one of the women entered a room, she panned her camera slowly around to show viewers what it looked like inside. At first glance, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, just another empty space in a decaying hospital. But if you paid close enough attention, something chilling could be spotted. Behind the glass, faint but unmistakable, sat the figure of a woman in an office chair. Her presence lasted only for a moment, turning away before fading completely as the camera swept across her. The team didn't seem to notice at the time, but the replay made it impossible to ignore. Viewers flooded the comments with their own theories, convinced that this was one of the clearest captures the group had ever recorded. HRJ Paranormal Adventures confirmed that this investigation wasn't over yet, and that the story would continue in their future videos, so be sure to subscribe and watch my videos so you don't miss it. On Thursday, August 10th of 2015, a corner store security camera recorded something that has left both staff and viewers disturbed. At first, the footage seemed normal, showing empty aisles late at night, but then it became clear something strange was happening. A strange, oversized shadow-like blob began moving across the shelves, not in the shape of a person, but something far more unnatural. As it shifted along, items began to fall over without anyone touching them, including things such as produce rolling across the floor, random balls moving on their own, and smaller goods scattering down the aisle. The employees who reviewed the tape the next day were shaken, unsure how to even begin explaining what they had seen. The manager, visibly stressed, admitted he was less concerned about whether it was paranormal and more focused on the aftermath. With merchandise all over the floor and customers starting to whisper about the haunting, he's been trying to find a cleanser willing to deal with the spirit in order to help banish it. Who knows how that will go, though. A babysitter was going about what she thought would be a normal night's work when she stumbled onto something she'll never forget. The kids were asleep, the house was quiet, but as she walked through some of the rooms, she noticed something strange.
I'm babysitting and I just found the creepiest thing. Look at this. What is that? Oh my god. No, but what is it? It's so creepy. It's freaking me out. Is this real hair? Oh my god. And look. Ugh. Guys, I just came in to make dinner and look what I found. Another one. Oh my gosh. It's a boy this time. Oh my god. Why would you look at that? Why would anyone have this in their house? Honestly, it's the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god, it has another bell. Oh my god. Guys, guess who I am? The light started going insane. Let me show you. Okay, wait for it because it was literally just happening a second ago. Max? You better not be out of bed. Okay, I think I'm just gonna get him and go because it's really freaking me out.
There were two doll-like figures leaning face first against the wall in separate rooms, and what made it worse was that they both had real human hair attached to them. Unsettled but curious, she set up a camera facing a mirror, imitating one of the dolls to see if anything unusual would happen. What the footage showed shocked her massively. Reflected in the mirror, one of the dolls suddenly sprinted into another room despite being stationary in real life. After that, she began to notice their positions shifting around the house without her ever touching them. At that point, she decided enough was enough and made for the door. But before she could leave, every single light in the house suddenly turned off at once, plunging her into darkness. For the babysitter, what started as just another job became a nightmarish experience that still haunts her. The following footage wasn't filmed in a single night, but instead collected over the course of 2 months. It came from the security cameras of a man's home, where he had grown convinced something paranormal was going on. He wanted enough evidence to finally bring in professional help, so he kept his cameras rolling constantly, documenting everything he could. In week 1, the activity began with his pantry door swinging open and slamming shut by itself, followed almost immediately by the faint, unsettling sound of a child's toy playing music, even though no one was near it. Weeks passed with smaller disturbances, but by week 8, the activity escalated. A glass suddenly tipped and fell from the counter, shattering across the floor, while the chandelier overhead started to sway and rattle without any draft or reason. The final straw of that night came when a chair slowly dragged itself back from under the dining table, inch by inch, as though someone invisible was pulling it. Despite all of this, the man, whose name is JP, was told it still isn't enough hard evidence for most ghost hunters to intervene. They need more before they'll take on the case. So for now, JP continues to collect footage, hoping that the next clip will finally prove once and for all what he already knows is haunting his home. Two men were exploring what locals claimed to be a haunted facility, and the deeper they went, the heavier the atmosphere became. The silence was thick until suddenly, one of them stopped and pointed. He swore he had just heard a strange noise coming from behind the heavy curtains near the church area of the building.
More.
Oh my god. These things are everywhere. It's cold as hell. No, I hear something. I heard something.
Get out.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck this shit was. There's something. Don't move!
They cautiously approached, hearts pounding, and one of them mustered the courage to quickly yank the curtains back. Behind them wasn't anything menacing, but rather an old, dust-covered playroom filled with forgotten toys and faded furniture. They searched it quickly, trying to convince themselves there was nothing sinister about the noise. But just as they were about to leave, something happened that sent them both running. Across the room stood a small toy house, its roof painted pink, with its tiny door left open. Without warning, the door suddenly slammed shut with force, as if someone inside had pushed it closed. The two men didn't wait to see what would happen next. They bolted out of the room and out of the facility entirely, convinced they'd gotten too close to whatever haunted the place. C's Crazy Crossroads, the ghost hunter with nearly 50,000 subscribers who has appeared in past videos, had already been through several terrifying moments earlier that same day at the contractor's haunted house. He'd heard unexplained noises, seen objects move, and felt the kind of chill that tells you something isn't right. By the time of his next clip, you could tell he was still shaken, but determined to keep filming.
I'm glad you guys didn't see that, because it was definitely scary as hell, so. Oh, see, look at that fucking ladder move! I'm telling you, there's something in here. There's something in here. This place is so friggin' creepy, there's something in here. Holy shit! Guys, I don't understand this. Ah! Me!
This time, while searching another part of the house, he came across an old ladder leaning against the wall. At first, it was just part of the clutter, nothing unusual, but as his camera stayed fixed on it, the ladder began to tremble on its own, rattling hard enough that it could have toppled. He froze, audibly nervous, admitting how much it rattled him to see something that heavy moving without a person near it. After everything else that had already happened, this was the moment that pushed his fear through the roof. He said later that it was the closest he'd come to just leaving his gear behind and walking straight out, and viewers could see why. The activity wasn't slowing down at all, but instead, it was escalating. In the following video, a man began filming late at night after the unsettling sound of constant knocking echoed through his house. The knocking was rhythmic, steady, and didn't stop, no matter how long he waited. He gets up, phone in hand, and walks slowly toward the front door, the knocks growing louder with each step. Even as he reaches for the handle, it keeps going with hard, deliberate thuds that seem to come from the other side. He hesitates for a moment before unlocking it, takes a deep breath, and swings the door open. Instantly, the sound stops. The air outside is dead silent, the porch empty, and the street beyond completely still. Just as he turns to head back inside, he notices something strange, a single mysterious branch lying perfectly in the center of his doorstep, as if it had been placed there. Confused, he picks it up and brings it to the trash, wondering how it could have got there. He shuts the door behind him after going back inside. No more knocking, no more movement, just the eerie sense that whatever had been at his door had left something behind on purpose. The next clip picks up at the very same door, recorded just a few nights later. This time, instead of knocking, there's a strange snapping sound coming from outside, quick, sharp, and repeating in perfect intervals. It was almost like a whipping noise. The man hesitates, clearly unnerved, before deciding to open the door again. As soon as the door swings open, the snapping stops dead. He steps outside cautiously, scanning the porch and yard with his phone light, expecting to find an animal or a loose branch in the wind, but the night is completely still. Then, as his camera pans down, something catches his eye, a single branch lying neatly across his doormat. It's almost identical to the one he found before. He crouches down, examining it for a moment before whispering that he doesn't understand how it got there. There's no movement, no explanation, just that same uneasy silence pressing against the air. The clip ends with him slowly backing inside, locking the door again, clearly realizing this wasn't just some random coincidence. Whatever was leaving those branches seemed to be coming back for more, so he needs to do something to stop it. So suggest some ideas in the comments section. Unedited security footage from a metal gate warehouse captured something that left the entire staff stunned. Earlier that night, one of the workers had gone to check the main gate and confirmed it was firmly padlocked before heading back inside to grab the keys. Only 5 minutes later, this clip was recorded. The heavy gate can be seen rattling gently at first, as though someone is tugging from the other side, even though the lot is completely empty. Then the padlock begins to twist on its own, slowly turning in place before it clicks free and drops to the ground. The gate swings open right after this happens, swinging all the way until it's wide open, exposing nothing but darkness beyond it. The camera shows no people, no animals, and no movement anywhere nearby. When the worker returned with the keys, they found the gate unlocked and open exactly like in the footage. After reviewing it, he immediately quit his job, saying he refused to work somewhere that could unlock itself so easily. Viewers online agreed it was one of the clearest examples of paranormal interference ever caught on CCTV, and I bet people will think twice before shopping here in the future. A man was spending a quiet evening at home, watching cartoons with his son, while his wife got ready in the bathroom. Everything felt perfectly normal, until he noticed movement behind the curtain-like blanket covering a door nearby. At first, he thought maybe his son had thrown something or that a draft had made it shift, but the timing felt too precise, too intentional.
Todo había estado tranquilo.
No. Miren lo que está pasando. Ya no había pasado nada. Estoy jugando con mi hijo. Estamos viendo caricaturas. Miren. Mi esposa está en el baño. Vamos a ver.
¿Qué carajo es eso?
¿Qué es eso? Mames. Maldita sea, vamos a prender el flash. Ahí espera, hijo. ¿Qué fue eso?
nadie en la cocina. Oh, mierda.
Ahora sí me dio miedo.
¿Qué es eso?
He began filming, explaining that nobody else was supposed to be in the house, his voice uneasy as he reached for the edge of the curtain. Pulling it aside, he revealed the dark room beyond, and for a split second, a shadowy figure could be seen peeking out from across the room before retreating. His breathing quickened as he glanced back to make sure his son didn't follow. Gripping a flashlight, he stepped carefully into the room the shape had vanished into. The beam swept across the furniture and walls, but there was nothing. No person, no movement, not even a sound. The atmosphere was thick and silent, the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. When he checked the footage later, he realized the shadow had leaned out just enough for its head to be visible, and there was no logical way anyone could have been standing there. It was around 3 in the morning when the man started recording again. This time, both he and his wife were awake, startled by the sound of repeated knocking at their door. At first, he brushed it off as the family dog, but the rhythm was too precise and far too constant to be an animal.
¿Qué onda, banda? Son las 3 y cacho de la mañana. Estoy grabando este video porque nos despertaban unos golpes en la puerta, como si estuvieran tocando. Pensamos que era el perro, pero ya son muchos y repetidamente. No sé, estoy con mi esposa, mi hijo. Y a mi esposa me dijo que ya me levante a ver porque sí, ya está raro, así que pues, vamos a ir a ver qué onda, porque esto sí está canijo. Ya están tocando mucho y el perro sí ya no puede ser. Yo nomás voy a buscar unas chanclas, unos tenis o algo y pues vamos a ver qué onda, que sí ya. Esto está raro. Vamos a ver qué. Esto sí no. No, madre. Esta puerta está cerrada. Google, ¿qué hora es?
Son las 3:10 de la mañana.
Nada, amor, nada.
His wife stayed in bed while he got up, muttering that he'd check it out. Slipping on his shoes, he walked down the dark hallway, the steady thuds still echoing through the house. When he reached the door, he froze. Through the smudged glass, a faint face could be seen on the other side, distorted by the frosted surface but human enough to send a chill down his spine. He steadied his camera and opened the door in one swift motion, only to find nothing. The driveway was empty, the air still. Confused, he stepped outside, scanning the area with his flashlight, but no one was anywhere nearby. When he went back inside, the knocking had stopped completely, and the house was quiet again. His wife, still in bed, asked what it was. He didn't have an answer. That the face he saw through that glass wasn't clear, but it was definitely there. Anderson, a member of the US Air Force, had been away from home for some time and was counting down the days until he could reunite with his wife. Late one night, he sent her a purple snap, telling her he'd be home just in time to help prepare for Halloween. His tone carried a tired weight to it, as if the long days and quiet nights were beginning to wear him down. Not long after, he paused mid-recording, and the reason why is shocking.
This literally gave me the chills after sending my wife a Snapchat.
At least I'll be home, and so we can prepare for Halloween. But yeah, there's that. Anyway, I just had to check this email real quick. So I'll be home in a sec, but I love you crazy.
He left the camera and got up to check, but when he passed the door frame, there was nothing waiting for him. No footsteps, no figures, nothing out of place. However, viewers watching closely noticed something he didn't. Just above the door frame, a small shadow seemed to move on its own. It was subtle, almost too quick to catch, but it drifted in a way that looked undeniably ghostly. Anderson never mentioned it himself, likely unaware of what had been captured, but the comments quickly filled with people insisting he wasn't as alone as he thought. For a man who already seemed worn down, this haunting detail made his night even heavier. The following evening, Anderson sent his wife another snap, trying to keep their usual rhythm of communication despite the distance. He told her he hoped to be home before 4:30, his voice a little lighter than before, though the isolation still lingered in his tone. As he spoke, something unexpected happened.
This literally gave me the chills after sending my wife a Snapchat.
But I should be getting out of here a little bit before 4:30, hopefully. And I think I'll do something. That ain't it. I think it's lunchtime, actually. I need a pump check. I'm going to lunch though.
The mug sitting beside him on the table shifted slightly, sliding in a way that no vibration or small movement could explain. This time, Anderson noticed it. His demeanor changed instantly, and he stopped mid-sentence, eyes locked on the cup, like he wasn't sure whether to believe what he'd just seen. Determined to show it wasn't some trick, he shut down his computer and lifted the mug to the camera and turned it to prove there were no wires, no strings, nothing attached. For a man trained to keep composure under stress, the unease in his voice was clear as he quickly wrapped up the recording. The video ends with him saying little more, just cutting it short and leaving the room as though he didn't want to spend another second there. It left viewers convinced the quiet space around him wasn't so empty after all. The CCTV camera in the kitchen was meant to keep an eye on the pets overnight, but what it recorded instead left the owners unsettled. The footage begins just before midnight when the family's cat casually wanders into the room, padding its way toward the kitchen table.
Watch the cat. After he walks in, a shadow figure follows.
The animal crouches slightly and slips halfway underneath the table, like it's noticed something strange. Just seconds later, a faint, misty shadow, shaped almost like a human form, drifts across the room, following behind the cat's movements. The figure is translucent, easy to miss at first glance, but once noticed, it becomes the only thing your eyes can focus on. The cat doesn't react in any way. The clip ends without further incident, but the unsettling image of that misty silhouette trailing the animal has left people wondering. Was it a protective spirit, a curious presence, or something darker just passing through? Whatever the case, it wasn't the kind of midnight visitor anyone would want in their home. Just a few days later, on March the 23rd, the house cameras caught something that pushed the family even closer to leaving. Unlike the previous event, this didn't happen at night, but at 11 in the morning when the sun was out and nobody was home.
This was such a great piece of evidence.
In the living room, a cabinet door slowly creaked open all on its own. After sitting ajar for a few seconds, a book suddenly dropped out from inside and landed flat on the floor, as though it had been pushed. The door never shut again, instead hanging halfway open as if to prove it wasn't just a latch slipping. The stillness of the house made the moment even creepier, since there was no one around to interact with it. When the family came back and reviewed the footage, they admitted it was the clearest sign yet that something in the home was not normal. The discussion of moving out has grown serious, and friends say they've already started looking at other houses, unwilling to keep living where the activity keeps escalating. The man who was unfortunate enough to be behind the camera sounded nervous from the very start, his voice unsteady as he explained why he was recording. He says he wants a witness because too many people have been telling him the place isn't haunted, but he insists it is, claiming he once saw the figure of a little girl standing right in front of the dollhouse in the room.
Yeah, man, I'm recording this video because I need you guys to be my witness. These people told me that this place was haunted. And I was like, no, it's not. It's not haunted. There ain't no such thing. And my dumb asses, I've been hearing shit off. Man, I'm out of my. Last time I seen the little girl, she was over there behind that little dollhouse, man. You guys gotta come with me and check this shit out. I'm fucking scared as shit. You guys gotta be my witnesses. Dude. Get out of my fucking. Man. Shit. There's nothing back there. Fucking man. I don't know why I need to do this shit. Creepy ass doll. Look at that shit. Fucking weird ass people. Dude, I'm scared as hell, man. Fucking scared as shit. Holy shit.
His breathing grows heavier as he inches closer to the dollhouse, filming every corner of the space as if bracing himself for what might appear. He even crouches down and peers behind it, but there's nothing there, just silence and his deep breathing. Relieved for a moment, he turns back toward the lamp in the corner, only for the real terror to strike. From behind a nearby cabinet, a pale figure with long, dark hair begins to emerge, drifting slowly into view. Before he can properly react, the clip cuts, leaving only the sound of his immediate reaction. The sudden ending makes it unclear what happened next, but the haunting image of that figure has left him more than frightened. Sergio had always been drawn to forgotten and ruined places, and this particular spot was nothing but rubble and bare cement walls, the kind of location most people would avoid at night. He set up a single large light to cut through the darkness of the tunnel he was exploring, the glow bouncing off cracked concrete and piles of debris. For a while, nothing unusual happened, just the stillness and his footsteps echoing softly.
Y el sótano, cómo se ve el humo. Tenemos poca densidad de aire aquí, el humo no se mueve fácilmente. Estamos en el sótano del solar. ¿Eso qué es?
¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué fue eso? ¡Ey! Algo acaba de pasar por ahí. No logro ver bien. ¿Quién está ahí? ¡Ey! ¿Sí vieron? Algo pasa por ahí. ¿Quién está ahí?
Suddenly, a loud bang carried down the tunnel, sharp enough to make him freeze in place. His camera panned toward the source just in time to capture something unnerving. A shadow drifting sideways across the tunnel, gliding smoothly as if it belonged to no physical form. Sergio steadied his breath and listened, but the silence didn't last long. More noises echoed from deeper inside, scraping and shifting, as though something heavy was moving unseen. Then, almost on cue, the same shadow drifted back in the opposite direction, vanishing into the darkness like it had never been there at all. The eerie repetition and the unnatural way it moved left Sergio visibly shaken, and it was clear the longer he stayed, the more dangerous the encounter might become. Luna was standing outside an abandoned facility, recording a place that had always been known to be infected with phantoms. It was a place of nightmares, and nobody in their right mind would go there. Fortunately for us, Luna is insane. Can you see what happened?
Porque, pues obviamente mencionan de ver a esta señora caminando, sobre todo al caer la noche. Es por eso que ya los empleados no quieren venir a este lugar a esta hora. Está completamente solo el lugar. Nos dieron el permiso, nos dieron el acceso justamente para buscar la evidencia de este ser fantasmal que dicen que todavía habita en este lugar. Ahorita vamos a ingresar ahí dentro para que ustedes puedan ver, pero sí me gustaría, pedir la presencia. Es algo que he estado haciendo últimamente, pedir la presencia de este ser, de los seres que ya no están en este mundo, que ya están en el más allá y que de alguna forma... Estoy escuchando ruidos allá adentro, Meli. Estoy escuchando ruidos ahí. A ver si logramos ver algo.
Through the bars, the dark interior came into view, and for a brief moment a shadow could be seen gliding across the room inside. It didn't resemble a trick of the light or a passing reflection. It had form, movement, and purpose. Luna kept the camera steady, clearly unsure of what she had just caught, and when reviewing the footage, it became even more unsettling. Something had been inside with her watching from only a few feet away, yet she never saw it at the time. The sighting sparked heavy debate online, with many agreeing that this was proof the facility wasn't empty after all. Subscribe because her adventure will continue into future videos. Donnie has been sharing clips from his home for some time now, showing viewers the strange activity that seems to follow him around. In earlier videos, he caught his lights swinging and objects moving on their own, leaving him convinced something had attached itself to the house.
The shit. Oh, what the? Off. Off. Who's here? Who's here? Me. Do you see that? That should not be good. Who's going up my stairs?
Hey, buddy, you okay? Who's here? Are you okay? Are you okay? Holy sh... This has got to stop. Two swinging lights. I don't know what the you can't be here. You have to go. I didn't tell you to come here. So I'm the only one here. Ever since this is getting way too wild. You have to go. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy'll be done on earth as it is in heaven. You okay, buddy? You okay? You come with Daddy. You okay? Who's here? Are you okay, buddy? You come with me. You stick with Daddy. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thine will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Are you coming? I don't want you at the top of the stairs. You come. Come on. This is your playroom. This is our playroom. Don't be scared. Come on, buddy. This is your basement. This is me in your basement. Come on. Terry, you don't gotta be scared. You come with me. Come on. You think something's down here? Come on. Come with Daddy. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. You don't have to be scared. You come with me. What, someone up there? You okay? What's that look for? You look... Are you scared, buddy? You don't have to be scared. You're a good boy. You don't have to be scared. I'll pick you up. You want me to pick you up? Come here. You want to come? I'll protect you. Okay. This is his basement. You don't have to. I've never seen... Why aren't you coming? Hey? You don't have to be scared. You're with me. It's holy water. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. What the is that? Thy will be done on earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses. This is the stair. Forgive. You cannot stay here. You are not welcome. I did not invite you. Are you okay? You don't have to be scared. You stick with me, okay? What did you see? Did you see something? Holy shit. Did I not just close that? No, I left that open. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. That's... You gotta go. You were not invited here. You're not wanted here. Okay, I got you set up. You're pointing towards that. All right. The top of this case is where I thought I saw a shadow. And that was moving like that. I'm gonna leave this run.
In this latest video, Donnie is downstairs, recording as one of his lamps continues to shake uncontrollably. He runs toward the stairs, only to find that another light upstairs is swinging too, as if unseen hands were pushing it. Donnie raises his voice, telling the ghost it has to leave, reminding the audience that he's the only one there. When he turns back, one set of cupboards is wide open, and as he shuts them, he mutters holy phrases over and over. The camera shows how uneasy the atmosphere feels as Donnie heads down into the basement, still reciting religious phrases. He's clearly desperate to fight back against whatever is in his home. This story isn't over yet, so subscribe to my channel to see the continuation. A man decided to explore an old abandoned building one night, filming as he went. The clip begins with him stepping carefully through a doorway into what used to be a kitchen. The counter's covered in dust and old debris. He doesn't stay long there before heading back out, walking slowly down a long hallway while peeking into each room along the way. As he gets deeper into the building, faint singing can suddenly be heard echoing through the halls. It's distant at first, almost like a choir singing, but as he keeps walking toward it, the sound grows clearer, and so do the footsteps that follow it. He knows other people are in that building with him. The singing abruptly stops, leaving only the creaking of the old floorboards under his feet. Then, a few seconds later, it starts again, this time further away, as if leading him somewhere. The tension builds as knocking sounds join in, followed by loud bangs echoing through the lower floor. He finally decides to follow the noise down a narrow staircase, the camera shaking in his hand. But as soon as he gets about midway, the air changes into something cold and heavy, and he turns back, whispering that he's done. The video ends with him hurrying back toward the exit, clearly realizing he was not alone in that building and there was something off. Jefferson had managed to collect some security footage from the hotel he worked at, a place already rumored to be haunted for years. But this time, the evidence was far more unsettling than anyone expected. The first clip comes from the hotel kitchen late at night when no one was supposed to be inside.
Alright, here's some crazy stuff that happens on this video. You're not going to believe some of this. I don't even believe it myself, but we've tried to debunk best we can. Watch all this stuff on the left side, and we're going to go through it here in a minute and show you the full video. I just want to show you everything we captured last night. Movement, all of that stuff. These bananas, watch these bananas right here. They go flying right there. So, that's not the only thing we caught. A light flash, look at this light flash. All of this happened with the same.
Several items can be seen shifting on their own with utensils clattering, trays sliding, and at one point, a whole bunch of bananas suddenly flings across the room as if thrown by an unseen force. The camera shakes slightly as the movement triggers motion detection, then cuts to another angle from the lobby. There, the grand chandelier that hangs close to the staircase begins to flicker erratically, casting long, eerie shadows across the walls before going still again. Jefferson explained that no one was working in those areas at the time, and the lights had never malfunctioned before. Whatever was moving around that night seemed to have chosen the perfect time to make itself known. Subscribe as this story will continue in future videos. Barry was home alone one quiet evening, while his wife and kids were all out doing their own thing. In all the years they'd lived there, nothing strange had ever happened in the house, so when he started hearing faint, unusual sounds, he decided to start filming just to see if he could catch anything.
Okay. That just moved. Wonder if it will move again.
The camera points towards a toy in the living room, perfectly still at first. Then, without any warning, it begins to move on its own, the rope moving to the right as it shifts visibly. Barry stays silent, his breathing uneasy, as he realizes there's no logical explanation for it. The windows were closed, there was no draft, and the family cat, the only animal that could have nudged it, was upstairs the entire time. He lets out a small acknowledgement and is uneasy due to something unseen having just pulled it. The incident ended up leaving Barry stunned and whispering under his breath, completely unsure what he'd just witnessed in what was supposed to be a normal, quiet night at home. The following video begins with a man filming a small ball sitting perfectly still in the middle of an empty room. There's nothing around it with no wind, no fans, and no sign of movement at all. However, little did he know, something bizarre was moments away from taking place.
There it is. Oh my goodness.
A few seconds pass in silence before, out of nowhere, the ball starts to roll slowly on the floor, completely on its own. The man behind the camera immediately bursts into hysterical laughter, clearly caught between shock and disbelief. He keeps filming as the ball continues to move steadily until it finally comes to a stop in the same place it started. There's no one else in the room, and the footage clearly shows no strings or wires attached. The clip ends there, and nobody knows what happened next, but whatever made that ball move seemed to do it with purpose. Magnus was out walking through the woods when he came across an old abandoned house hidden behind a line of trees. The place looked forgotten, clearly not inhabited, and surrounded by silence. Curiosity got the better of him, so he started filming as he made his way closer.
Oi, hva? Gamle driten her, da. Faen, ass.
He steps onto the porch and then knocks on the door 6 times, each knock echoing through the empty forest. After getting no response, he slowly pushes the door open and steps inside. The air is thick with dust, the kind of stillness that makes every sound feel louder. He flips on a light, revealing peeling wallpaper and broken furniture scattered around the room. Calling out once or twice to check if anyone's there, he gets nothing back but the creak of the old house beneath his feet. After a moment, he decides to head upstairs, camera in hand. His footsteps grow slower as he reaches the top. Then, just as he lifts the camera toward the landing, a pale face suddenly peers over the balcony at him. Magnus screams in shock and bolts back down the stairs. He vowed to never visit this place ever again. A widow named Jess had been filming her closet for a few nights in a row, after claiming strange things kept happening whenever she turned her camera off. This time, she decided to catch it on film, once and for all. She started recording with the camera, speaking softly but clearly, calling out to something she believes is in there with her.
You just did it! Derek, come on, do it again! Derek, you just did it every time. Every time, Derek. I turn the camera off and you do it. Come on, man. Derek, please. Show yourself. Derek. Derek, come on, babe. Your wife wants to know you're here. Come on. You just did it. As soon as I stopped the camera. Derek, come on, man. Stop being a stubborn ass. Derek? Please? Please do it for me, Derek. Derek, if you love me, you'll do it. If you love me, you'll do it. Ugh. Alright, fine. I'm turning the camera off. Shh, maybe you'll do it now. Derek! Derek! Well, fine, you stubborn ass. Oh my god!
Jess refers to the spirit as Derek, the name of her late husband, with that every time she stops recording, something moves or makes a noise inside that closet, and she is certain it was him. Her tone shifts between nervous and hopeful as she starts asking him to do something again, just to prove she isn't imagining it. She looks toward the door and beckons Derek, even saying if he doesn't do it, then he doesn't love her. There's silence for a few seconds, the camera fixed on the dark outline of the closet door. Jess then says she's turning the camera off, pretending to end the recording. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, faintly in the darkness, a shadow shifts inside the closet, fast and unmistakable, as if someone or something had just stepped aside. After reviewing the footage, Jess decided to go one step further and see what might actually be behind the strange activity. Inside the closet where she'd seen the shadow, there was a small staircase leading up to the attic. She hadn't been up there in years, but this time she filmed herself climbing it.
Y'all wanted me to come up to the attic, okay? This is the wall that y'all saw some shit on. And these are the stairs. Like, my husband has all his clothes, of course. But if you look up there, there's no windows. I'm not going all the way up there because it scares the shit out of me. There's no windows. There's a sofa, some mirrors, a chair, his clothes, but there's no windows up here, okay? There's nothing up here that would have done anything. See? No window. No window. No windows. Nothing. Absolutely nothing up here. Other than like his toolboxes and a chair. I'm not going up here because it's too scary for me. But there are some mirrors, which is weird for an attic. A fan. See, there's no windows. This is my attic. There's nothing up here that could have done that shit. Alright, I'm getting the here because it feels weird.
The camera shakes slightly as she reaches the top and pans around the small space. There are no windows, no vents, no gaps in the ceiling, Nothing that could have caused the movement or shifting shadows she'd captured earlier. It's a cramped, quiet attic filled only with old items. Jess explains that she wanted to show everyone there was no logical explanation, no wind or light source that could have made what she saw. The silence in the parts of the clip where she doesn't speak is heavy, the kind that makes you think something could move again at any moment. After the video, she admits she doesn't feel safe in the house anymore and plans on moving soon, thinking that maybe Derek isn't at peace here either. The clip fades out as she takes one last look at the attic before heading back down the stairs. Ian of the Midwest, the well-known ghost hunter, is back investigating the same haunted factory that's featured in several of my previous videos. For anyone new, this is the abandoned industrial site where countless reports of footsteps, cold spots, and shadow figures have been captured on camera. This next part takes place around 13 minutes and 27 seconds into his recording, right as Ian decides to check out the basement level of the building.
Let's make some more noise. Jesus. See, what do we hear? God, I hope there's no more bats. It's bad enough dealing with the spirits alone. Is there anyone down in this basement? Was that you? Who just made that noise? Could you make that noise again? Oh, it is like a very, very old building, so it's gonna make all kinds of noises. But they sounded pretty deliberate. Let's go ahead and check out this area. I don't know if this is where the sounds came from. Oh wow, you see these?
He calls out into the darkness, asking if anyone is down there with him. For a few seconds, there's only silence. Then a faint sound of movement echoes from below. Ian freezes, then asks the spirit to make the noise again if it can hear him. Just a few seconds later, another sound rings out, clearer this time, almost as if responding to his request. The fact that it listened and repeated the sound makes it hard to call this an anomaly. It was interactive, intelligent, and most importantly, real. Subscribe to see what happens as this investigation continues, so you don't miss any important parts of Ian's tales. Ashley had set up a camera in her bedroom after weeks of feeling uneasy at home, mostly just to reassure herself that nothing strange was really happening. It wasn't the middle of the night either. This took place around 6 p.m. while she was busy filming other content in another part of the house. Mid-recording, she began hearing noises upstairs. At first, she brushed it off, thinking it might just be her cat moving around, but when the sounds came again, her camera caught this.
Alright, so I'm regretting putting the camera up in this room. I know we did it so we could see if anything happened, but I didn't want to see anything. I didn't want to see anything, okay? And my mom's coming this weekend, so she can't know about this. I was downstairs filming content, and I heard something upstairs, but I was like, it's just Coco. She's not down here. Coco's upstairs playing. All fine. But then I heard it again, and here's what we found. Here's what we caught on the camera. And I'm not okay. I'm either going to be moving this weekend, putting the house up for sale, but I'm not okay. Send help. What do I do?
On the video, her wardrobe door could be seen opening and closing several times on its own. The movements weren't subtle either. It looked deliberate, as if someone or something was trying to get attention. Ashley rushed upstairs, heart pounding, and immediately checked inside the wardrobe. Nothing was there. No animal, no person, nothing that could have caused it. The fact that it all happened in broad daylight only made it scarier for her, and ever since, she's been second-guessing whether she should even stay alone in that house anymore. A man was walking the halls of a hospital late at night, already uneasy because of its reputation for being haunted. The building was almost silent except for his own footsteps, the kind of silence that makes every creak feel louder than it should. He filmed as he explored, narrating quietly and evidently feeling a sense of inner fear.
No mames, güey, necesito que alguien venga, güey. Se escuchan cosas, güey, y... No mames, se escucha la puta regadera, güey, del puto baño, güey. No mames. Necesito que alguien venga, güey, me estoy cagando de miedo, güey, al chile, güey. Oiga, güey. No mames, güey, no prende la puta luz, güey. No mames, cuchi, güey. ¡No seas ojete, güey! ¡No mames! ¡No mames, güey! ¡Hay alguien, güey! ¡A la verga! ¡No mames! ¡Su puta madre, güey! ¡No mames! ¡No mames! ¡No mames, güey!
As he stepped into one of the bathrooms, the sound of running water echoed from the showers, even though nobody else was supposed to be there. He started calling out to see if anyone was inside, but instead of an answer, he caught something chilling, half of a ghostly face peeking around the corner of the tiled wall. To this day, he swears it was no trick of the light, but something far darker residing in that hospital. Eddie had been dealing with constant knocking around his house for weeks, the kind of sounds that keep you awake at night and make you second-guess every little creak. On this particular night, he finally decided to get up and see what was going on. The video starts as he leaves his bedroom, following the loud banging that echoed through the hallway. He quickly identified the source, the bathroom door, where something was slamming against it. Gathering his nerves, he opened it, but the room was completely empty. He flicked on the lights to be sure, and found nothing out of place. Just as he began to calm down, another sound echoed from the kitchen, which was a heavy thud, like something falling. Rushing over, he discovered an object lying on the floor that hadn't been there seconds before. Breathing hard, he filmed the aftermath, clearly shaken, and later admitted he wasn't sure how much longer he could stay in the house. The following night, Eddie decided to leave a camera running while he tried to sleep, hoping to finally get proof of what was happening. At roughly 2 a.m., the knocking started again, echoing through the hallway in the same relentless rhythm as before. This time, though, the camera also picked up the sound of a cat meowing from nearby. The strange part was, that the cat never came into view, even though the sound grew louder as if it was pacing near the bathroom door. The knocking continued in bursts, shaking the silence of the house while the camera rolled, capturing every sound. When Eddie reviewed the footage the next morning, he admitted that the combination of the meows and the knocks felt deeply unsettling, almost like the noises were feeding off each other. It left him thinking about things for sure. Eddie, determined to get more solid evidence, decided to set up a camera downstairs the following morning before heading off to work. He left the TV on quietly in the background, thinking the noise might draw out whatever was causing all the disturbances. Hours later, when he returned and checked the footage, what he saw was enough to send chills down his spine. In the middle of the day, with nobody home, a dark shadow shot across the living room, darting from one side of the frame to the other so quickly it was almost a blur. Moments later, the rug tucked behind the couch was pulled down, flattening itself on the seat, with no explanation. The camera then caught a cupboard door swinging open and closed by itself, followed by the clatter of something falling from the kitchen counter just out of frame. Watching it all back, Eddie admitted this was some of the clearest and most terrifying footage he had ever captured. The fact that it all happened while he wasn't even there made it feel like whatever was haunting the house was growing bolder. He later said he wasn't sure if he wanted to keep setting up cameras because the more he recorded, the worse it seemed to get. The following CCTV footage from inside a busy playhouse seemed ordinary at first, with children laughing and enjoying their time. But then one boy let out a loud scream, his face full of panic, before bolting across to the other side of the playhouse as if he'd seen something none of the others did. A staff member rushed over to check on him, clearly concerned, and entered the small room the boy had fled from.
Were you in there? Were you in there? No. He knocked us over. Who knocked us over? Maybe it was just air. Yeah, what was it done? Good. If I could have said,
Just moments later, one of the toy houses in that very room began to tilt over on its own, slowly leaning before crashing down without anyone touching it. The sound startled the kids, sending a wave of upset cries through the playhouse. Watching the clip back, many were disturbed not only by the movement of the toy house, but by the timing. Whatever force was there had chosen to act right in front of children. People online called it an evil presence, saying any spirit willing to scare kids so openly had darker intentions than most. The video quickly spread as viewers argued whether this was a genuine haunting or something staged. But for those who saw the fear on the children's faces, it was hard to dismiss as anything other than real. The staff member who had rushed into the room that day later decided to record a vlog explaining what had really happened. She described the incident in detail, saying that after the toy house fell, she found out what the actual answer was, and it definitely chilled her.
I wanted to quickly show you exactly what it was that was scaring the little kid that my mom was watching. So pretty much, so firstly we have the house, and obviously you guys saw that it fell, but the other thing I wanted to point out was that it's pretty hefty, so it really doesn't make any sense that it would just fall on its own like that. So that's just something I wanted to point out. And this is the room. The crazy thing about this is that there was like markings at the top of the entranceway of like the doorway, and I guess in the video you can see hands gripping onto the doorway. I don't really know what to make of that. I thought at first that it was like bugs or something like that, but it looked almost like two hands like gripping on the top, like leading into this room, just like. But the main thing, and the reason that the little boy was screaming, is actually in here. We have this covered up for a reason. Apparently, the little boy told my mom that he saw a face in these mirrors. We already found someone who's going to take it off our hands and pick it up off Facebook Marketplace, but we have been keeping this room off limits.
It was a set of mirrors that had once been set up for the kids to play with. The boy insisted that while looking into them, he saw strange faces staring back, faces that weren't his, or any of the other children's. According to him, they were twisted, distorted, and watching him until he couldn't take it anymore, which is why he ran screaming. The woman explained that after hearing this, she and the other staff wasted no time covering the mirrors and eventually selling them off, hoping to remove whatever had caused the disturbance. She admitted she'd never seen anything like it before, and that the whole team agreed the boy's reaction had been far too real to be dismissed. The clip added another layer to the story, leaving many to wonder if the mirrors had somehow been tied to the evil presence that showed itself that day. An Asian ghost hunter who goes by The Dark is known for being paid to investigate haunted locations, often venturing into places most wouldn't dare to enter. On one of his recent investigations, he explored a large abandoned facility, carrying only a flashlight and his camera. The atmosphere was already unsettling, with every step echoing in the empty halls, but then something happened that stopped him in his tracks.
حطوا سماعة يا جماعة. بسم الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات.
Out of nowhere, a sheet lying on the floor suddenly flew upward into the air, as if lifted by unseen hands. The movement was sharp and unnatural, with no sign of wind or explanation for how it happened. He spun around quickly, and in that same moment loud banging noises echoed from deeper inside the building, making the situation even more unnerving. The clip ends with him frozen, torn between going to investigate and retreating, but one thing was certain: the flying sheet was far beyond anything natural. Konek had been fascinated by the idea of proving ghosts were real, and for this video, he decided to take things further by exploring a house long rumored to be haunted. Strangely enough, he even had a key to get inside, which left viewers wondering why or how he'd gotten it. Determined to document everything properly, he switched his camera into night vision and began carefully walking through the rooms.
Right, I'm gonna go check the one that house today. It's a haunted house. A bit scary. I want to prove it. I'm gonna go check it out, man. I'm gonna prove it. Oh, I should leave the door open. I should leave it open, buddy. Easier to escape. Just checking an audit. I ain't sleeping here at all. Fucking scary. I'm on night vision too. Oh shit. Everything is here. Yeah. Everything is here. Holy shit. No one's in there. Hopefully. Holy shit. Holy shit. I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all. I'm not scared at all. I'm not scared. Holy shit, I'm gonna close.
For a while, nothing at all happened. Just silence, empty spaces, and the echo of his own footsteps. Eventually, though, while moving through a long hallway, a door creaked open all by itself. Instead of backing off, he boldly stepped inside, repeating out loud that he wasn't scared. The room appeared ordinary, nothing strange in sight, so he turned to walk back out. That's when it happened. A chair suddenly slid across the floor directly toward him. Startled, Konek dropped his phone and bolted out of the house, his recording ending abruptly. Donnie is a ghost hunter who has spent years chasing activity in some of the most haunted places he could find. But this time, he wondered if the danger had followed him back home. For a while, his house seemed normal, but then small. Unnerving things began to happen. He decided to film one night after noticing something strange above him.
The f*** is that shit? Oh, what the... Off. Fuck right off.
Who's here? Who's here? Me. Did you see that? That should not be good. Who's going up my stairs? Hey, buddy. You okay? Who's here? Are you okay? Are you okay? Holy sh... This has got to stop.
A ceiling light began to shake on its own, swaying unnaturally, even though the air in the room was still. He flicked on the other lights in the room, but that one kept moving. Uneasy, he asked aloud who was there, hoping for a sign, but nothing responded. Trying to steady himself, he went downstairs, only to see another light fixture begin shaking in the exact same way. That was the final moment of this clip, and the clip does not end there. This story will continue, so make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss what happens next. Two family members were sitting together in the kitchen, talking quietly, while one of them recorded. They weren't filming for fun as they already believed this room was haunted and were waiting for something to happen. For a while, the kitchen stayed still, but then it happened.
Papu, el otro día estaba acá, viste, en la parrilla, empecé a escuchar ruidos, se movían todas las cosas, se movía todo, te lo juro. Sí existen, papi, sí existen. ¡Ah! ¡Te dije que existe!
Out of nowhere, a dustpan with a long handle launched itself across the room, clattering against the floor. Both family members screamed in fear and bolted out of the kitchen immediately after the footage came to an end. A group of friends were exploring an abandoned building late at night. More for the thrill than anything else, the vibe was playful, with everyone laughing and joking as they walked around.
Shit, vad fan är det?
Det är någon som håller emot. Det är dum eller? Håll inte på med jobbet. Kul, du får gå först. Du har fan vänta.
Alltså tänk om alla mobiler som är döda.
Kolla vad häftigt.
Det är skitsnyggt.
Fan, vi vill du också dra det?
Nej. Vad du drar?
Det är alltså, du vet, det är sådana hund. Det är sådana skor som låter. Håll käft. Du har stängt det. Det ligger sådana skor. Det är skor som ligger väldigt jävla labyrint.
Vi går vidare upp. Vi går vidare hitåt. Uppåt kommer vi ingenstans. Jag hittar det. Jag hittar det. Jag vet inte. Typ. Fan. Vad händer? Hålla i det.
Jag tror detta var den sista gången.
Stanna!
Vi går igen. Fy fan. Det stannar. Det var riktigt läskigt.
Släpp! Har du sett katt?
Stanna tillsammans.
Ja. Vad fan ska det? Vem fan var det?
Nej, det är bra. Stannat en sekund.
Nearby creaked open just a crack before shutting again. Strangely, none of them really reacted to it, so they just kept laughing and carrying on as if nothing happened. But as they wandered deeper inside, the fun atmosphere quickly shifted. Out of nowhere, A loud scream echoed through the building. This time, there was no ignoring it. The group erupted into nervous laughter, mixed with genuine fear, sprinting out of the building together, half terrified, but still laughing at the surreal experience. Who knows if they will ever go back again? A CCTV camera inside a tattoo studio recently captured something that left both the artists and clients stunned. In the footage, several items suddenly tumble off a bookshelf without anyone touching them, scattering across the floor. As it happens, one object even strikes a man sitting in the chair, waiting for his tattoo. He looks up in shock along with the rest of the room, clearly confused about how it happened. Despite the bizarre moment, the man was surprisingly calm about it all, decided to laugh it off, brush himself down, and go ahead with his tattoo appointment as planned. Sometimes even the strangest and most paranormal situations can't get in between a person and their tattoo. The following video took place in a kitchen, and it captured a chilling moment that left the homeowner more unsettled than ever. The camera shows a cupboard door slowly creaking open all by itself, the silence in the room making the movement feel even heavier. The person behind the camera doesn't say a word, just stands there in uneasy shock, as if waiting for more to happen. Fortunately, though, nothing else occurred. This wasn't the first time they'd witnessed such activity, and after repeated incidents, they admitted they're seriously considering selling the house altogether. Sometimes the weight of the unknown is just too much to live with, and you can't blame anyone for fleeing from paranormal threats.